can post on my page that they can go to your page for the live stream.
I'll get it for you.
What's that?
I'll get you the link
Okay.
as soon as I find it.
All right, let me know, okay?
We'll do it. Send it over to you. Hiya.
Bill Frederickson from the PUC.
Hi, Bill. I'm Jerry Gallen.
Hi, Jerry.
How you doing?
I'm doing well. Looks like you set up to video, which is fine.
Yep.
The judges, as part of their overview, will indicate to witnesses that there's some recording going on. But given that it is an official court proceeding, and the primary goal is to hear from those witnesses, if any witness does not wish to be videotaped, we ask that you respect that as a courtesy.
Hi. Figure out how to pause. I'll figure it out.
Okay?
Yeah. Sure.
They don't usually, but every now and then you get somebody who's shy, and again, the whole purpose is to get their testimony. So if the recording is a stumbling block to that, we just don't want it to get in the way of somebody's testimony.
Understood.
All right, thank you.
Thank you. their video that I just sent you.
Oh,
I thought it was mine. It's theirs.
Oh,
They apparently are streaming.
are you streaming
I
from
am.
your page?
I am.
Do you have a link?
I'm trying to find it.
Oh, send me the link. I'll use yours over there. Okay, so let's turn that.
Okay, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to begin. Good afternoon, everyone. This is a public input hearing scheduled in connection with the two pending rate filings of Pennsylvania American Water Company. My name is Christopher Pell, and I am one of the administrative law judges assigned by the Commission to hear this case and produce a recommendation for the Commission to consider. With me is Administrative Law Judge John Coogan, the other Administrative Law Judge assigned by the Commission. Bill? One second. This sounds... I hear it. It's just the speakers up front.
Speaker's working. You need to turn it up, Larry.
Testing. Can you hear me now? Okay. I'll start over. Good afternoon, everyone. This is a public input hearing scheduled in connection with the two pending rate filings of Pennsylvania American Water Company. My name is Christopher Pell, and I am one of the administrative law judges that the Commission has assigned to hear this case and produce a recommendation for the Commission to consider. With me is Administrative Law Judge John Coogan, the other administrative law judge assigned by the Commission to this case. With us here are several representatives on behalf of the active parties. There is also a court reporter here who is taking down what is being said and will produce a written transcript of this hearing. I will briefly explain the nature of this proceeding and allow these representatives to briefly introduce themselves to you. Then we'll hear from you. As you know, the Pennsylvania American Water Company has filed two requests. First, Pennsylvania American, I think it went back up again. Thank you. As you know, the Pennsylvania American Water Company has filed two requests. First, Pennsylvania American is seeking a general rate increase for its water service by approximately $199.2 million, or by 24.2%. Second, Pennsylvania American's wastewater division is seeking a general rate increase for its wastewater service by approximately $4.7 million, or 2.5%. The Commission suspended the effective date of the proposed rates until August 7, 2024, and directed that this investigation be undertaken. In general rate cases such as this one, the Commission is required by the Public Utility Code to ensure that the rates it approves are just and reasonable. There are many factors which are evaluated in determining whether the proposed rates are just and reasonable. Among them are the efficiency, effectiveness, and adequacy of the utility service, the legitimate needs of the utility for revenue to provide both current levels of service and to improve future service, and the prevention of inequitable rate discrimination among customers or customer classes. Active parties in this investigation, in addition to the company, are the Commission's Bureau of Investigation and Enforcement, or I&E, the Office of Consumer Advocate, or OCA, the Office of Small Business Advocate, or OSBA, the Coalition for Affordable Utility Services and Energy Efficiency in Pennsylvania, or CAUSE-PA, the Commission on Economic Opportunity, or CEO, the Pennsylvania American Water Large Users Group, or POWLUG, Cleveland Cliff Steel, the Borough of St. Lawrence, Exeter Township, Robert Rawls, and Kyle Donahue. Some of these parties are here this afternoon and will have a chance to make some brief introductory remarks. Let me briefly outline what has happened in this case so far and what the schedule is for the future. A pre-hearing conference was held on January 3rd, 2024. The active parties worked out a schedule and we addressed various procedural issues. If the parties are unable to agree on the settlement, then hearings will be held telephonically on March 7th and 8th, 2024, so that the active party witnesses who presented written testimony will testify under oath and be subject to cross-examination. These telephonic hearings are open to the public, and you are welcome to listen in. Because hearings are sometimes canceled or changed, you should contact our legal assistant, Pamela McNeil, at 215-560-4228 the day before you plan to attend to ensure that the hearing will be held as scheduled. When the hearings have been completed, the parties will prepare and submit to us written briefs describing the facts as they see them and the law that they believe should be applied to those facts. Main briefs and responsive reply briefs are due on March 26, 2024 and April 5th, 2024, respectively, and our recommended decision will be issued in May 2024. The Commission will decide if our recommendation concerning the proposed rates should be adopted, rejected, or modified. A significant step in the hearing process is the public input hearing. The purpose of this hearing is to obtain testimony of you, the people who will be directly affected by the proposed rates. Let's talk about how this will be conducted today. There are two ways you can testify. First, you may testify formally. This means that we will swear or affirm you in, the court reporter will record and transcribe your statement, and you'll be subject to cross-examination by any of the active parties here. We may also ask you some questions. To the extent that your testimony is relevant, material, and competent, it may be considered by us and by the Commission. If you choose to testify, and we strongly urge you to do so, you'll be asked to state and spell your name, give your address. We will ask if you are employed and by whom, and if you're a customer. If you are appearing on behalf of a group or organization, please state that. Please do not be intimidated by the terms that I have used, such as testimony and cross-examination. We all recognize that you may not be lawyers, and we know that none of the parties here would try to embarrass you in any way. They may ask you questions about your testimony. You should not become upset by this questioning or feel that you are under personal attack. Such questioning is entirely normal for this type of legal proceeding. We ask simply that you listen to the questions asked of you and that you answer the questions to the best of your ability. If any questions are improper, we will let you know. The second method of participation is for you to make an off-the-record, unsworn, or unaffirmed statement. If you choose to do this, you will not be sworn in, and the court reporter will not record your remarks. We and the Commission, as a matter of law, cannot consider evidence which is not part of the official record in this case. If you choose to make an off-the-record statement, you will be asked to state your name and address, whether you are a customer, and if you are representing a group or organization. You will not be subject to cross-examination. We will assume that everyone who has signed up will make an on-the-record statement. So if you do not want to testify formally, please let me know when I call your name. If you do not wish to testify, you can always contact one of the active parties here, such as the company, I&E, or OCA, to express your concerns directly to them. For the benefit of the court reporter, please speak slowly and clearly and identify yourself when speaking. This public input hearing is your opportunity to present evidence regarding the proposed rate increases. If you have questions concerning the filings, we are sure that the company representatives will do their best to answer them briefly. We do want to remind everyone that this is an official legal proceeding. While we don't want you to feel intimidated or nervous about speaking publicly, please keep in mind that this is a serious and official hearing. Finally, regarding time limits, I just want to note that we have about 50 people signed up to testify here this afternoon. Judge Coogan and I have discussed it, and we've discussed it with the parties. We are going to impose a 5-minute time limit so that we're going to hopefully get to all of you who signed up. If we can't get to you before the end of this afternoon's public input hearing. We invite you to come back for the 6 o'clock public input hearing. If you don't want to wait around for the 6 o'clock public input hearing, we invite you to register for one of the 4 telephonic public input hearings that are scheduled for next Monday and Tuesday, February 5th and 7th. Monday and Wednesday, February 5th and 7th. So when we're going through your testimony, I'll alert you at the 30-second mark when you have 30 seconds left so that you can wrap up your statement. Before we begin hearing from you, which is why we're all here, we will allow the party representatives present to make a very brief statement. Turning first to the company.
Good afternoon, everyone. Can you hear me okay?
You want to bring it close?
Is that better?
He's coming back up.
Okay. I'm gonna,
It'd be too much of a hassle. He's going to come and adjust it. He's got to adjust that microphone too.
okay. How's that? Better? All right. All right. Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Elizabeth Rose Triscari. I'm Director of Corporate Counsel for Pennsylvania American Water Company, and I'll be representing the company in today's hearing. As Judge Pell indicated, the company filed a request to adjust its rates with the Pennsylvania Public Utility Commission on November 8th, 2023. When the company filed its rate case with the Commission, we filed very extensive supporting data and information as required by the Commission and its regulations and orders. The Commission and all the parties to this case, including, as the judge mentioned, I&E, OCA, OSBA, and other stakeholders, have been poring over that information and supporting data, as well as additional information that they have asked the company in the form of data requests or questions. We've answered over 900 questions from stakeholders, many with multiple subparts, totaling over really 2,000 questions. Since our last rate case, the company has made and continues substantial investments in new and replacement facilities in order to replace and rehabilitate infrastructure as it reaches the end of its useful life, to continue to meet customer demands for water and wastewater service, and to comply with the evolving standards under the Safe Drinking Water Act, the Clean Water Act, the Clean Streams Law, and the various regulations issued by the agencies that administer those statutes. Since our last rate case, we will have invested over $1 billion in infrastructure upgrades, including replacing more than 160 miles of aging water and sewer pipelines and upgrading treatment facilities, storage tanks, wells, and pumping stations. The company has received recognition from the EPA through its Partnership for Safe Water for the quality and high standards of its water treatment plants. The company also developed and offers its home water conservation program to educate residential customers and promote ways for them to lower their water bills through a variety of conservation measures. Additionally, Pennsylvania American Water was the first water company to start a customer assistance program to help eligible low-income water customers who have short-term or longer-term difficulties paying their bills, and have since expanded that program to include wastewater customers. If you think you might be eligible to participate in either of those programs, I encourage you to speak with some representatives we have at the back table in the corner, Jessica and Tawana. If you guys want to raise your hand, please feel free to speak with them, get some more information about those customer assistance programs. If you're not able to talk to them today, you can also call our customer advocacy group at 717-550-1606. Pennsylvania American appreciates the opportunity the Commission is providing through this and other public input hearings to hear directly from its customers. The company listens carefully to all the testimony provided in these hearings and uses that input of customers to enhance its operations and customer service. Also wanted to mention that there are a number of people from the company here in the room today listening to what you have to say. I want to point out that the president of our company, Justin Ladner, is here in the audience. There's also other senior level management, our vice president of operations, our vice president of engineering, many local folks who are in the field. If everybody from Pennsylvania American, maybe just raise your hand, let everybody know who's in the room. Appreciate y'all coming out today. If you have any specific questions about your bill, service, or other matters, someone from Pennsylvania American will follow up with you as soon as possible, no later than 48 hours from today's public input hearing. We look forward to hearing your comments and thank you for participating today.
Thank you. OSBA?
Hello, I'm Rebecca Lytle, and I'm the attorney for the Office of Small Business Advocate. And as the title suggests, our state agency advocates on behalf of small businesses in the state of Pennsylvania. Small business is companies that have under 250 employees. We hire experts to review all rate filings, to go over the numbers, the impact. And the experts also look at the testimony that you are going to be giving to be able to come up with expert testimony to help keep these rates down. If you know of any small business or you yourself own a small business that is struggling paying their utilities, please testify to that today. I also have business cards up front that you're more than willing to take with you, or I can talk to you after the hearing. But our agency wants and does advocate for the small businesses when they have trouble paying for their utility bills. We don't want any of these businesses to go under because they can't pay for water or wastewater anymore. Thank you.
Thank you. OCA?
Hi, good afternoon. Thank you all for being here. My name is Melanie Elatia. I go by Mel if you catch me after this. I'm a senior attorney with the Office of Consumer Advocate, or the OCA. The OCA, we're not a part of the PUC, rather we're an independent office of the Pennsylvania Attorney General's office. Our job is to represent the interests of utility consumers before the Public Utility Commission. And I'm here because I'm a part of a team of lawyers and experts that have filed a formal complaint against Pennsylvania American Water's rate increase. We are going to be an active party every step of the way in this case, and we will zealously advocate for the interests of consumers. Our goal being to recommend to the judges and to the PUC to set PA American's rates as low as reasonably as possible. Now let's turn to why you are all here. As the judges explained, the purpose of this public input hearing is to hear from you about your thoughts, your concerns about Pennsylvania American's proposed rate increase and about its quality of service. If you are a consumer, I strongly encourage you to testify under oath, because when you do, it becomes part of the record, and we can turn and use that testimony as part of our case and as part of our arguments to the PUC. Now, after you testify, since there's a lot of people here, it's going to be limited, but you will be subject to potential cross-examination. If I have a question for you, it's meant to be friendly, just to help get out your thoughts and opinions about certain portions of the company's case. Today with me is the consumer advocate of Pennsylvania, Patrick Cicero. He's in the back, if he can wave. He is very dedicated and is always fighting for consumers and utility matters. Also, here's Andrew Zerby. He's an assistant counsel. And we will be here after the conclusion of this. Should you have any questions, my business cards are on the back table, so are some pamphlets about our office. Thank you.
Thank you. Diane?
So I'm going to talk into the microphone because I already know no one in the back of the room is going to hear me if I don't. My voice just doesn't carry. My name is Carrie Wright. I am a senior prosecutor with the Commission's Bureau of Investigation and Enforcement. We're an independent bureau within the Commission because our main function is to prosecute cases before the Commission. I also work with a team of expert witnesses who have reviewed the company's filing. We've gathered a lot of information from the utility. What we don't really have is a lot of information from the utility ratepayers, who are the ones who are the most impacted by these rate increases. We think that it's very important to hear from the customers today. I know the judges mentioned several ways that you can present information to us. For our office, and I think everyone's office, the best thing that you can do today is testify under oath. That's going to be the best way for us to use the information that you give us when we make our recommendations to the commission. So thank you all for coming out today, and I look forward to hearing from you.
Thank you. Cause PA?
Thank you and good evening. My name is John Sweet. I'm an attorney at the Pennsylvania Utility Law Project. In this proceeding, we represent the Coalition for Affordable Utility Services and Energy Efficiency in Pennsylvania, which is an unincorporated association of low-income individuals that advocate on behalf of its members to ensure that consumers of limited economic means are able to connect to and maintain affordable utility services. Cause PA is opposed to PAWC's rate increase, especially at this moment as many are beginning to recover from the effects of the COVID-19 pandemic. In this proceeding, we are investigating the impact of the proposed rate increase on low-income households, the adequacy of Pennsylvania Americans' low-income assistance programs, and the reasonableness of Pennsylvania Americans' policies, terms, and conditions of service to ensure that they are just, equitable, and do not have a disproportionate or discriminatory impact on certain consumer groups. I encourage you all to testify on the record in this proceeding so that your testimony can be considered in making a decision in this case. In providing your testimony, be sure to share what this rate increase would mean for you, your family, and your community. Thank you.
Thank you. This portion of my opening statement is directed towards the media and anyone who may be recording portions of this public input hearing. Please do not be disruptive during the hearing. This is an official court proceeding, the main goal of which is to obtain testimony of those who may be affected by the proposed rate increase. Please respect the wishes of those testifying. If they do not wish to be filmed or recorded, we ask that you turn off your recording devices for the duration of that witness's testimony. And any interview must be conducted outside of the hearing room. To those who are here to offer testimony regarding the proposed rate increase, if you do not want your picture taken or statement recorded by the media, then let us know when you come up to testify and we will ask the media to refrain from recording your statement. Sometimes elected officials attend public input hearings to offer testimony on behalf of their constituents. Since these elected officials are very busy and offer testimony on behalf of a number of customers, we allow them to offer their testimony first so that they may then leave and attend to their many other responsibilities. And we do know that we have Senator Judy Schwenk present. Senator, would you like to come forward and offer testimony? I'll administer the oath. Do you solemnly swear or affirm that the testimony you provide here today will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I do.
Thank you. If you would please just state and spell your name.
My name is Judy Schwank, Judyschwank.
Please state your address.
169 Stitzer Road, Fleetwood, PA.
Are you a Pennsylvania American Water and/or wastewater company customer?
I am not.
And my understanding is you're appearing on behalf of your constituents today.
Yes, indeed, I am.
Thank you. What would you like to tell us?
Thank you, Judge. Before I begin, I would first like to thank the Pennsylvania Utility Commission, PUC, and the distinguished judges for providing me with the opportunity to comment on the Pennsylvania American Water Company rate increase request at today's public input hearing. My constituents and I have been looking forward to this day and this opportunity to express our opposition to this rate increase request. You're good? Okay. This process is so vitally important in ensuring that the public has a forum in which they can make their voices heard on an issue which not only impacts their daily financial well-being, but also their accessibility to a vital life resource. When I learned that PAWC was seeking yet another rate increase, I asked the Pennsylvania Office of Consumer Advocate to intercede on behalf of ratepayers in these proceedings. In his reply to my request, our Commonwealth's distinguished consumer advocate agreed that the proposed increase would place a severe burden on many households and shared my concern over the continuing upward rate spiral. The consumer advocate noted that his office will also ask the PUC to consider consumers' ability to support any rate increase, particularly given how much the water bills and sewer bills have already increased in 2023. While I will not make presumptions about the evidence the consumer advocate and his expert staff will present, I do think that his reply to my request demonstrates the severity of the current proposed rate increase. It's not simply an issue of the present rate increase request, but is also an issue of systematic increases and the burdens that this places on a consumer. I've had the honor of serving the constituents of the Pennsylvania's 11th senatorial district for the past 13 years. In my tenure, I cannot count the number of times I have presented testimony pertaining to utility rate increase requests, some of which were made by the Pennsylvania American Water Company. In addition, the ripple effects of Act 12 of 2016 have been felt across the Commonwealth, and my concern has only grown over the years as these requests from PAWC have seemingly become a biennial occurrence. I was flabbergasted by the rate increase in 2020. I was very disappointed by the rate increase request in 2022. And while I'm not shocked anymore, I'm deeply unsettled by the rate increase request today. Given the difficult times of economic uncertainty many of us experienced through the COVID-19 pandemic and the years following, I'm quite certain that very few, if any, ratepayers will be able to afford not only the proposed rate increase, but any rate increase at all. As inflation and unemployment rates settle back down to be on par with pre-pandemic levels, this is not the time to venture down this path. The public deserves the time and grace to recover from economic turmoil of recent years, rather than face the stress of higher bills for essential water and wastewater services. PAWC indicates that their current request would increase the monthly payment for their average customer who uses 3,201 gallons of water per month from $70.65 to $88.24. Per their own projections, this is an increase of nearly 25%, with an additional yearly cost of $211 for water usage alone. The average wastewater consumer who uses 3,122 gallons per month would actually face a monthly cost decrease from $105.18 to $100.08. This cost decrease, however, is masked by stipulations and alternate rate-making practices. For one, the projected decrease in wastewater bills would only happen if PAWC is able to offset 27% of total wastewater costs onto their water consumers. That's on top of their existing water service costs. Unfortunately, there are also some new practices being proposed: a revenue decoupling mechanism and an environmental compliance investment charge. The proposed revenue decoupling mechanism is aimed at normalizing PAWC's net revenue. In short, the PUC sets a revenue ceiling under a rate case that is in effect until PAWC moves forward with another rate increase request. Under this revenue decoupling mechanism, that revenue requirement almost becomes a target. If PAWC comes in under that number, then they will add a surcharge to consumer bills. If PAWC comes over that number, then they will add a credit to consumer bills. At the forefront, this may sound like unproblematic normalization measure. However, this takes some autonomy away from the consumer. Let's say a consumer wants to take water conservation measures to lower their bill. If many other consumers have the same idea, then those measures may actually raise their monthly water bill due to the surcharge that PAWC will add to the monthly water bill for coming in under the targeted income. The consumer can't win. Many would agree that a business has a right to earn a fair rate of return, and I agree too. However, at the root of this right is the matter of fairness and equity. At its core, a business's goal should not simply be to maximize profits, particularly when you're providing a vital life service to your customers. It should be to provide your customers with quality goods and/or services at reasonable costs. In its current form, I believe that these proposed rate increases, especially paired with the proposed revenue decoupling mechanism that I talked about, are far beyond what we could think of as being reasonable. In addition to the revenue decoupling mechanism, PAWC proposes an environmental compliance investment charge. This charge would allow the company to offset the costs of, for example, projects that they take on to meet DEP's requirements, Pennsylvania Department of Environmental Protection, onto the consumers through a surcharge to their monthly bill. A large part of running a business is assuming the risks and responsibilities associated with the operation. The proposed rate-making practices from PAWC appear to shift all of this risk onto the consumer. This is especially alarming because many of their consumers, including the residents of Exeter Township, my constituents, do not have the option of choosing a new provider for water and wastewater services. There's no place else to get these services. To put it bluntly, unless a consumer moves into a new home outside of PAWC's service territory, they'll be trapped into paying these exorbitant costs. Anecdotally, I have heard countless concerns and complaints from PAWC consumers who reside in Exeter Township. Some have told me that their current monthly bill is greater than their quarterly bill was 5 years ago. Others have called my office, frankly, in a panic after receiving their monthly bill. Some of the common terms I've heard constituents use to describe this situation are they're angry, they're outraged, they're worried, and they're scared whether they can continue to afford this. Therefore, I respectfully urge the Commission to carefully review and consider the testimony presented by citizens, advocates, and experts during this hearing process. Take into account the significant impact the requested rate increases will have on PAWC consumers. The PUC has been tasked with balancing the needs of utility consumers with the needs of the utility providers. We get that. But I would submit that the current situation facing PAWC consumers is totally out of balance. It seems like they are bearing too many of the costs. It's heavily weighted in the favor of the utility provider. Any final decision rendered must be just and ensure that additional undue hardship is not placed on ratepayers. Thank you so much for giving me the opportunity to speak today.
Thank you. Any questions from the company?
Just wanted to thank you, Senator, for your comments today, and we look forward to an ongoing dialogue.
I would appreciate that. Thank you.
Any questions from OSBA?
Yes. Rebecca Lytle, OSBA. Have you heard any complaints from small businesses in the area about the rate increase or the current rates being too much for them?
Yes, we have. We have received numerous phone calls, consumers in general, but definitely some of the small businesses in the area as well.
And what were their complaints or their feelings?
Well, certainly they're concerned about the costs that they're assuming, not only in terms of utility costs, but all the other things that they have to pay for, such as supplies that they use to operate their businesses.
Do you feel that the water company should have some type of payment protection program for small businesses that may have to go under if they can't pay their bills?
I definitely think that a program of that type should be extended, but it needs to be one that actually works.
Thank you.
Thank you. Any questions from OCA? Any questions from INE?
No, Your Honor.
Any questions from COSBA?
No, Your Honor.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Amanda Johnson. I'll administer the oath. Do you solemnly swear or affirm that the testimony you provide here today is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I do.
Thank you. Would you please state and spell your name for the record?
My name is Amanda Johnson, AMANDAJOHNSEN.
Please state your address for the record.
My address is 6106 Pond View Drive, Birdsboro, Pennsylvania, 19508.
Are you employed, and if so, by whom?
Yes, I'm employed by Mace North America Limited.
Are you a Pennsylvania American Water and/or Wastewater Company customer?
I am.
Are you appearing on behalf of yourself or on behalf of a group?
I'm appearing on behalf of myself.
Thank you. What do you want to tell us?
I've prepared a statement that I'm going to read. Exeter Township is a working-class community full of honest, hardworking people. We have many residents who are living on fixed incomes and working multiple jobs to make ends meet. American Water's aspirations of higher rates do not match our local income level, and for this reason, I ask that their request for rate increases for water and wastewater be denied. Since the acquisition of our wastewater treatment plant in 2020, our community has seen bills from American Water increase over 200%. On top of high rates, we are subjected to American Water's ever-fluctuating billing cycles, which range between 27 and 35 days, making it difficult for households to budget for these high bills. From what I have determined, there isn't a set pattern to the billing cycle fluctuations, and as a result, some months we receive a bill in the first week of the month and one in the last week of the month, and sometimes when cycles are 35 days in length, the bill is much higher than anticipated for only an extra week's worth of water. Residents are moving out of our community and warning potential buyers of our high water and wastewater bills to deter people from falling into the crisis our community has been subjected to at the hands of American Water. I have spoken with many neighbors in this community about their water issues over the last year, from households of one or two individuals who are unable to afford American Water's budget bills of $300+ per month, to neighbors who are unable to afford one bill and find themselves hundreds of dollars behind due to late fees. I should note, several of those individuals told me they are on payment plans and are still unable to afford their American Water bills. Lastly, many of our residents have experienced receiving shutoff notices ahead of receiving their monthly bill. The current rates are already pushing the budget of many households in our community and throughout the Commonwealth over the edge. Every time I turn on my faucet, I'm charged for water and wastewater, whether that water goes down the drain or not. And as a result, I have ceased using my outdoor hose to water my plants. Our household does not wash cars or let our young children play in the sprinkler outside. We no longer have a kiddie pool. Goodbye to tubby time for our youngest child. Those activities would potentially cost us hundreds of dollars we just don't have. We have replaced appliances and household fixtures to ensure they use a minimal and efficient amount of water. These efforts, at a cost to my household, have yielded little savings. In 2023, a 10% reduction in use yielded a $2 savings. Unfortunately, my household is at a point where we can no longer reduce beyond what we've currently done. And I know we are not alone. Many of our residents have figured out that a $10 per month gym membership to shower is cheaper than showering at home. Some have taken to using laundromats in neighboring areas to clean their clothes, despite having washers and dryers in their homes. Last year, water cost my household $910 for the year, and wastewater cost us $1,400. We used an average of 3,800 gallons of water per cycle. By comparison, in 2020, I paid $867, and wastewater was only $1,102 for the same 3,800 gallons per cycle. My American Water bill is the most expensive utility bill I have, and I dread opening the statement every month because I know it will continue to increase despite my family's best efforts to conserve. Our community has also
30 seconds.
had issues with our water quality, and in some areas of the township, the water is undrinkable. People are supplementing undrinkable water with bottled water, which they then have to factor into their budget.
Thank you. Any questions from the company?
Just very briefly, wanted to follow up on just a couple things from your testimony. Are you aware that there is the option for budget billing or to choose your bill date for your bills?
Yes, and the residents that I have spoken with find that unaffordable.
And the other question was following up on, kind of your summer usage, filling pools, outdoor sprinklers, that kind of thing. Are you aware that in this rate case, the company has proposed something called winter averaging billing?
Yes, but we've seen what the average or estimated cost of billing is over the actual cost, and we still have concerns.
Okay. Are you aware that the winter averaging would do your billing on the 3 winter months so that summer seasonal usage would not factor into your wastewater rates?
In my personal case, it wouldn't make a difference because I've eliminated those outdoor water activities. However, those in our community that do have pools may be affected differently.
Thanks for your testimony today.
OSBA? OCA?
Yes. Can you pass the mic?
Thank you very much for your testimony. You were talking about reducing showers, replacing household appliances to save water, right? Were you aware that the company is proposing a new rate mechanism called the revenue decoupling mechanism that would require any bill savings that you achieve, require you to share it back with the company, some or all of a portion of that savings?
Yes, I'm aware.
Okay, and it's for the purpose so that the company can meet its desired or revenue target?
Yes, I'm aware.
And what do you think about that?
I think it's horrible. We don't all live under rocks, and we see what their executives and CEOs make on an annual basis in both salary as well as bonuses, and that money is coming directly out of this community's pocket. We can't afford to fund their multiple homes or lavish lifestyles anymore.
Well, as a follow-up to that, are you aware that the company is asking consumers to pay an additional up to $11.8 million in rates per year to reward it for doing its job in a prudent manner?
I am aware.
And what do you think about that?
I think that's ridiculous.
Thank you very much.
Diane?
No questions.
Cause PA?
No question, Your Honor.
One question, please.
Okay.
Are you also aware that the rate decoupling mechanism can result in a credit on customer bills?
I'm going to say I'll believe that when I see it, because when our customers, myself included, have been overcharged from estimated bills, that credit that we're owed seems to fizzle into nowhere.
Thank you very much for your testimony.
Thank you.
Kathleen Schwartz? I'll swear you in. Do you solemnly swear or affirm that the testimony you provide here today will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes, I do.
Thank you. Would you please state and spell your name for the record?
Kathleen Schwartz, SCHWARTZ. First name Kathleen, KATHLEEN.
Please state your address.
205 Constitution Avenue, Reading, Pennsylvania, 19606.
Are you employed, and if so, by whom?
I am employed. I work for Spring Ridge Financial Group.
Are you a Pennsylvania American Water and/or wastewater company?
Yes, I
customer?
am.
And are you appearing on behalf of yourself or on behalf of a group?
Myself.
Thank you. What do you want to tell us?
I've been a resident of Exeter Township for 30 years, and I've lived in my current home for 23 years. Since our plant was sold, the sewer rates have increased substantially. I am now paying somewhere between 170 and 200% more for my sewer. In 2019, there were 4 people living in my home, and my total bill for water and sewer for that year was $1,155.51. I don't know what my usage for water was because I didn't track it then. In 2021, when we started seeing substantial rate increases, I still had 4 people in the house, and my bill was $1,497.02. The usage for the year was 42,700 gallons. Fast forward to 2023. There are now 2 people living in my house, and my bill totaled $1,904.73, and my usage was 36,000 gallons. My usage has gone down, but my bills are much higher. I can't pressure wash my fence. I can't pressure wash my sidewalks or the siding because it's too expensive. I can't grow a vegetable garden because I can't afford to water it. I can't wash my car. If I want to reduce my gas or electric bills, I can do things like turn things off, unplug devices, or lower the temperature. I have the freedom to shop rates for gas and electric, but I have no option with water and sewer. There's nothing left to reduce except skipping laundry and bathing, and nobody wants to see that. Or I can shower at the gym like some of my fellow residents have started doing. We buy our drinking water because the water quality is absolute garbage. Exeter has extremely hard water. There is calcium and lime buildup on everything. Having a water softener is a must, but I had to turn it off because the water is so hard that my softener cycles constantly, which of course counts towards wastewater. Our water pressure is abysmal. It cuts out regularly in the middle of the laundry cycle for no reason. If the washer is running, it's not possible to take a shower or use the sink. This has become increasingly worse over the last 4 years, and I've noticed a significant drop in pressure over the last month or so. It feels like we are on the bottom of a very weird pyramid scheme. Our rates go up with every purchase made by Pennsylvania American Water. Where is the end? At this pace, my water and sewer bill will be higher than my mortgage payment in a few years. I am concerned about my home's value. Who would want to buy a home or bring a business to this area where the water and sewer rates are higher than the gas and electric bills? The only foreseeable solution is to leave the state. Since this also affects schools and businesses, I expect their rates to go up, and they will pass it on to the consumer by way of increased prices and taxes, so we get screwed twice. This is a for-profit company. I'd like to know what the CEO makes in bonuses. In my research, I've come across over $4 million. I wonder what the Pennsylvania rep makes for bonuses. I'm sure he did a good job this year. The constant rate hikes cannot continue, and I ask you, do not approve these rate increases. Thank you.
Thank you. Any questions from the company?
No questions.
OSBA? OCA?
Yes, you mentioned water pressure.
Yes.
Is this something that comes and goes, or is it more constant?
In the last month or so, it's become more constant.
Okay. Also, you mentioned PA American's desire to grow through acquisitions.
Mm-hmm.
Do you believe that the company should just focus on basics in terms of quality service at reasonable rates? And
yes.
Thank you.
INE?
No questions.
Cause PA?
No questions.
Thank you for your testimony.
Thank you.
Charles Wilson? Charles Wilson? Diane Michalowski? Oh. I'll swear you in. Do you solemnly swear or affirm that the testimony you provide here today will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I do.
Thank you. Would you please state and spell your name for the record?
My name's Diane Michalowski, DianeMichaelowski.
Please state your address.
94 Wessex Court, Wingspread, Exeter.
Are you employed, and if so, by whom?
I am retired business owner and a retired veterinary nurse.
Are you a Pennsylvania American water and/or wastewater customer?
I am.
And are you appearing on behalf of yourself or on behalf of a group?
Myself.
Thank you. What would you like to tell us?
I would like to tell you that I've been a customer since 2019, and my water bill takes up 1/12 of my Social Security payment per month. I live with my husband, who works approximately 55 hours a week, and on his days off, we usually go out and do things away from the home. I flush the toilet 2 to 3 times a day to try to conserve water. I watch my showers. I do everything I can do to minimize the water bill. And I too, when I open up the American Water to pay my monthly bill, I hold my breath. I pay between $135 and $150 a month for water and wastewater. In 2019, I paid $80 a quarter, which came to $320 a year, and now I'm paying $1,680 a year. That's a 136% increase in 4 years. The wastewater and fees are 3 times the water rate. This month, we used $37.05 worth of water, and the $97.54 for wastewater and fees. And I believe Senator Schwank mentioned about using, to sell your home, they're using that, the selling point that American Water does not get used at that home. In the past 3 years, I've had bills that were exactly the same, to the penny. 2021, August, September, and October, the exact bill of $113.79. In 2022, from July to October, exact same bill of $125.03. In November and December of the same year, $125.66. Last year, January and February were exactly the same at $125.90. April and May, exactly the same at $166.38. And October and November, exactly the same at $121.52. And my final point is that the line items on the invoices change. There's a deferred tax credit, and then all of a sudden in February last year it disappeared. There's a distribution system improvement charge. There's a recoup surcharge for water and wastewater. These seem to come and go. You have to really study your invoices. And that's all I have.
Thank you. Any questions from the company?
No questions.
OSBA?
No,
OCA?
no, Your Honor.
INE?
No, Your Honor.
COSPA?
No, Your Honor.
Thank you very much for your testimony. Priscilla Gentry? I'll swear you in. Do you solemnly swear or affirm that the testimony you provide here today will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes.
Thank you. Would you please state and spell your name for the record?
My name is Priscilla Gentry, Priscilla Gentry. I reside at 1103 Stonehenge Drive in Farming Ridge, Exeter, 19606. I am a water and sewer customer, and I am retired.
And are you appearing on behalf of yourself or on behalf of a group?
I am appearing by myself.
Thank you. What would you like to tell us?
I had my husband check we don't save our water bills or sewer bills. I had him check our checkbook, and in 2019, we were paying $50 to $60 a month for our water. Our water bill now monthly is $350. That's a big jump. And we're retired on one retirement income. Our water is unaffordable. It costs more for the water sewer bill now than it does our electricity and natural gas bill. I don't mind paying a little bit more for water if the quality is good, but the quality is not good. For $350 a month, I want liquid gold coming into my house. And it's far from it.
Please let her finish testifying.
We have our granddaughter who's 4 months old living in the house, and we have to sterilize bottles. When we use the tap water, the bottles came out coated white. It's minerals. But it's pretty darn hard water. So we have to buy bottled water for the baby to drink. We have to buy demineralized water to sterilize bottles in, because to handle a powdery bottle, she was not drinking it. She doesn't like Exeter's water. We have to have a double water filtration system in the house because the water quality just tastes so horrible. We have to have a water softener because in preparation to retire, we've thought ahead and saved up to upgrade our water heater, our air conditioner heater, doing everything responsible so we can age in place in this house that we saved a lifetime of savings for. We have to use the water softener to protect the washer, the dishwasher, and our tankless hot water heater. We've done everything we can to save money, and it's costing us because now we have to buy water, spend, I don't know, I have never priced it, but the water filters, solar salt, all of this just to improve the quality of the water coming into the house. We also, like most everyone in this room, don't water our lawns anymore. We take shorter showers. I shut the water off when I'm soaping up, and that feels pretty darn good in the wintertime when you're sitting there freezing because you don't want to elevate your water bills. We wash our clothes when we have to. I shower every other day. We flush the toilet when we have to, but let the yellow stuff stay in a little while so you're not using so much water, because every penny you pay to come in, you're paying every penny to go out. We don't live extravagantly. I shop at a discount food store and then use the grocery store to fill in between.
30 seconds.
I am not abject to going to Goodwill for my clothes. We're doing everything we can to save money, and the PAWC continues to raise their rates exponentially. You're driving people out. We will end up moving from our house because we can't afford the exorbitant taxes and the escalating water and sewer rates. It's killing us.
That's time.
Thank you.
Any questions from the company?
No questions. Thank you for your testimony.
OSBA?
No.
OCA?
Yes, Your Honor. Thank you, ma'am, for your testimony. You talked about reducing your water usage to save money on your bill.
Yes.
Are you aware that the only way you as a consumer can save money on your monthly bill is by reducing your water usage?
That's what I assume.
And are you aware that in this case, the company is proposing a new rate mechanism called a revenue decoupling mechanism that would require you to return back some or all of those savings that you achieve if the company doesn't hit its revenue target?
That's just dandy.
Well, what do you think about that?
I think it's disgusting.
Thank you.
INE?
No questions.
COSBA?
No questions, Your Honor.
Thank you for your testimony. Keith Sauer? I'll swear you in. Do you solemnly swear or affirm that the testimony you provide here today will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I do.
Thank you. Would you please state and spell your name for the record?
My name is Keith Sauer, Keithsauer.
Please state your address.
4824 Farming Ridge Boulevard, right here, Reading, PA.
Are you employed, and if so, by whom?
I am employed full-time with Diamond Credit Union.
Are you a Pennsylvania American Water and/or wastewater company customer?
Yes, we are.
And are you appearing on behalf of yourself or on behalf of a group?
Appearing on myself.
Thank you. What would you like to tell us?
I come here today to speak for my family, which includes my wife Amanda Sauer, my two children who are the ages of 11 and 8. We're just a middle-class family of 4 who live in a 1,600 square foot home in Farming Ridge. And I'd like to thank everybody for being here today, especially the PA American Water Public Utilities Commission, Judy Schwang. I'm a concerned customer of PAWC who's seen countless increases over our now combined water and wastewater bills. I understand that in the last few years, inflation's made everything cost a little bit more. In fact, according to the US inflationcalculator.com, the cumulative rate of inflation from 2020 to year-end 2023 was 17.7%. But I've keeping an Excel spreadsheet of my costs for American Water since May of 2020, and I can show you that the rates far surpass the rate of inflation. I'll focus on the last 3 years from today for reference. I submitted all of this materials to the OCA as Exhibit A for inclusion for this public comment. The spreadsheet shows my average monthly bill from 2021 to 2022 was only $185.50 a month. And my average monthly gallons was 5,517. In total for the year, it was $2,165.94. Then in 2022 to 2023, we've seen a 13.5 increase over the prior year. The monthly average bill went up to $204.84. That's an annual spend of $2458.02. My average monthly gallons was only 5,483, so we didn't use any more water. Finally, in this last 12-month period, we tracked an additional 38.8% increase due to the approved rate increase that was performed a mere 11 months prior to this case. Even using less gallons in the prior year, of only 5,475 gallons a month, our monthly bill averaged $273.99 for an annual spend of $32.87.91. So from 2021 to the current day, that's a 51.8% increase. An annual life-sustaining need that's required, but yet we used 500 less gallons annually these past 12 months. We spent about $9 a day in this township compared to other local municipalities paying as little as $1 to $3 a day for the exact same service. If you go back further, when we were billed quarterly for wastewater from Exeter Township, the rates have gone up over 171% since 2019. This far surpasses the rate of inflation I spoke about earlier. And I know we're all feeling it, from gas to groceries. If PAWC wants to raise rates even more, how are we supposed to continue to come up with the additional money for the same product that hasn't changed? Why hasn't PAWC tapped into $55 billion allocated to save drinking water in the bipartisan infrastructure bill? Why are we funding the CEO's $6.72 million annual compensation package? There's much more money, that's just as much money that can run an entire 40-employee municipal system. Just ask Anthony Polito, Executive Director of North Penn Water Authority. In every formal complaint response I've read, the same boilerplate message states that the company denies that these commission-approved rates are not affordable. The company complains they performed a detailed analysis of the affordability. And quite honestly, I ask, what type of public surveys are you conducting, and where are you getting your data from on your customers, whether they think these rates are affordable? I can tell you that PAWC might think they're affordable because we prioritize paying our water bills ahead of other expenses. For one, water is an essential life need, and two, these bills get so high, if you get behind, it's going to be very challenging to ever catch up. I can tell you if my internet service went up by these rates, I just change packages or switch companies, but there's no choice with PAWC. I switched electricity generation suppliers and natural gas suppliers before, and I thank all those who were involved for PA Power Switch, but there's no system in place to do this for water and wastewater. The other item I want to talk about is a questionable billing period going from 35 days to 27 days. I asked the reps on the phone and the lady just said, that's just the way it is. She couldn't give me a concrete answer. I have MedEd and UGI bills bill me exactly 33-day month periods. Both bills combined with UGI and MedEd are more
That's time.
than PAD.
Any questions from the company?
No questions.
OSBA? OCA?
Yes, Your Honor. Thank you for your testimony. You mentioned the Infrastructure Investment Jobs Act, the federal funds available. Are you aware that to date, the company has opted not to pursue taking low-interest loans available from the government through PennVest because it'll affect its bottom line?
That's what I gathered because I could not find any research otherwise that they have done so.
Do you believe the company should, in the interest of consumers, take low-interest government loans or grants so it can reduce the rates to its consumers?
I wholeheartedly believe so. That money is there from the taxpayers for this reason, and we're already seeing that today with internet providers building into new territories, roads and bridges being fixed. So why can't PAWC do the same?
Thank you very much.
OSBA?
I understand you had a question from counsel for OCA, but are you aware that Pennsylvania American does pursue any federal funds, low-interest loans that are available and that it is eligible for?
No, I'm not aware because it does not seem to be heavily publicized.
We have a couple of exhibits that were circulated by the OCA in advance. The first one, I know you spoke to Sour, it's been labeled as Sour Exhibit 1. But we have a Sour Exhibit 2. Just want to confirm, is this the billing periods you were referencing?
Yes.
Okay. These were specifically referenced in Mr. Sour's testimony. Any objections to their admissible being admitted? Okay, without objection, Sour Exhibit 1 and Sour Exhibit 2 are admitted into the record. Thank you very much, Mr. Sour. Ron Foy. I'll administer the oath. Do you solemnly swear or affirm that the testimony you provide here today will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I do.
Thank you. Would you please state and spell your name for the record?
Ron Foy, R-O-N-F-O-Y. Please, the 205 Eagle Drive, Reading, 19606. Thanks.
Are you employed, and if so, by whom?
I'm not employed, I'm retired.
Are you a Pennsylvania American water and/or wastewater customer?
Unfortunately, I am.
And are you appearing on behalf of yourself or on behalf of a group?
On behalf of myself, and I'd like to thank everyone here today for the community support. And it's been a long time, Judy Schwankship, haven't seen you.
Thank you. What would you like to tell us?
Well, I live in a newly constructed home with updated appliances, low flow, everything. It's my wife and I. Our average bill for 2023 was $317.56. I mean, I know I tell my wife she doesn't need a shower 4 times a day, but I'm pretty sure that the limited amount of laundry and showering and normal household usage, okay, couldn't possibly justify such usury in pricing. What's really gone on, and I thank Senator Schwenk for being here, is twofold insult to us. Act 12, which allows Pennsylvania American Water to buy up small water companies, put capital investment into it, and then charge all of us back for their business investments in order to make long-term profit, okay, which is simply unbelievable for what's supposed to be a controlled monopoly. Monopolies were set up so that both the user and the company could exist in a form that didn't take advantage of the consumer, while at the same time allowing the company to pursue a reasonable level of profit. That is certainly not the case here, okay, with Pennsylvania American Water. On the other hand, the other thing is the decoupling issue that we're dealing with, which is basically legalized price fixing. At the end of the day, it's you win, we lose, you lose, we lose. If we do our job to reduce usage, if we do our job to be conservationists, if we do our job to exhibit any kind of proper conservatism, you win, because you'll set your targets in order to win. We're not privy to how you want to set your objectives for financial performance. You don't publicize that. You don't do it year over year with the same balance sheet that you're working with. We are simply being taken advantage of. And in my new home, the water quality is, as another person here, the pressure varies, okay, from hour to hour. Shouldn't be able to not wash clothes and still get full bore pressure out of your sink. I don't know about the water quality because I had to spend $4,000 to put a water system in because of the hard and unusable water that flows through our pipes. Some of that can't be controlled fully by the water company. It's what comes out of the ground. But I don't have the facts and figures and tables. I just know that I'm spending over $3,500 a year for water. I'm fortunate, I guess I can afford it. But that has nothing to do with being used as a consumer and being overcharged and ill-treated by a company. Thanks.
Hold on 1 second, sorry. Wait 1 second. Any questions from the company?
No questions.
OSBA? OCA?
Yes, thank you. Sir, thank you very much for your testimony. You mentioned Act 12. Are you aware that in this proceeding, the company is proposing to recover costs for 2 systems it's acquiring under Act 12?
Yes, I am.
Okay, and are you aware that it's proposing to recover a major portion of those costs? These are wastewater systems, and it's proposing to recover a major portion of those costs from water customer and water rates.
Yeah, I mean, the whole idea that a company goes and buys, okay, they spent $50 million here, they buy a wastewater treatment plant, they'll make $200 million, okay, on the increased prices and surcharges they keep applying to that acquisition. And go to a community that has nothing to do with Exeter, or Berks County for that matter. Whatever they invest there, we'll pay for. So the increased service or the upgrade to those services that we get no benefit out of, it isn't going to make our water better. It isn't going to make the delivery of our water more efficient. It isn't going to lower our bills in any way, but you want us to pay for it. That's the real criminal piece of that process.
Thank you. No further.
Wait. Sir, 1 second. I-80?
No questions.
Calls PA. Thank you very much for your testimony. Alicia Shusett? I'll administer the oath. Sure. Okay. Do you solemnly swear or affirm that the testimony you provide here today will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes, sir.
Thank you. Would you please state and spell your name for the record?
Sure, it's Alicia Shusett. It's Alicia. The last name is Shusett. That's S as in Sam, H-U, S as in Sam, S as in Sam, E-T-T.
Please state your address.
49 Warwick Court, Reading, 19606.
Are you employed, and if so, by whom?
Yes, Cedar Crest College.
Are you a Pennsylvania American Water and/or wastewater company customer?
I am.
And are you appearing on behalf of yourself or on behalf of a group?
Myself.
Thank you. What would you like to tell us?
We moved to Exeter in late August of 2019 from Upper Macungie Township. We purchased a 3-bedroom, 2.5-bath townhouse. Our household is 2 adults and 2 adult children who visit and stay regularly. We had no idea the township had decided to sell its water and sewer systems to Pennsylvania American Water Company. Nor could we have understood the impact of that decision. Previously, we lived in Upper Macungie for 14 years. The Lehigh County Authority provided our water services, and the township controlled the sewer. You can see from Exhibit 5 that I submitted, our monthly water bill was $36.27. You can see additionally, You can also see from Exhibit 4 that Upper McCountry Township sewer fees are quarterly. They have not changed since 2019. I do not have the coupons from that time, but I did do a screenshot capture of their page. For a year, our average yearly water and sewer costs were $800. We moved to Exeter, and we see our bills rise at an alarming rate. For 2023, our costs for water and sewer services were $1,457. That is nearly double what we paid living in Upper Macungie Township. You can refer to Exhibit 2, which is the chart of my bills. From June of 2020 to January 2024, we have seen billing cycles over 30 days 16 times, many of them 35 days. This is in addition to wildly varying per gallon costs. There is no way to understand any of these data sets. Our most recent PWOC bill was $148 and is due on February 5th. It was for 28 days. The previous bill was 35 days, it's $166. For comparison, I have submitted other utility bills, Exhibit 6, 1, and 3. Our electric is $79, gas is $56, and cable and internet is $120. Our PWOC bill is more than all of them, and more than our electric and gas combined. We have worked to replace and upgrade and improve items in our home for efficiency. We've replaced 2 toilets, 3 faucets, 2 shower heads, 1 hot water heater, 1 dishwasher, and 1 washing machine. We also added an over $3,000 water softener system and drinking filtration system due to the extremely hard water destroying all of the faucets and things we had to replace and the less appealing taste of the water. We also employ a variety of conservation methods. We have an annual plumbing check at our home to check for leaks. We use an electric tea kettle to heat up water to avoid running the faucet. We use water from cat bowls. So in the morning I give them fresh water. That all gets put into a watering can to water plants. I collect dehumidifier water during the summer months to water my outdoor plants so as to not turn on a hose. We're only running a full dishwasher, a full clothes washer. We take 5-minute showers. I have a clock in the bathroom now to watch. We're saving pasta water during dry spells in the summer to water our outdoor plants. I keep a big pot on the stove with excess water in it. And we've employed the yellow mellow toilet water conservation method. And if you don't know what that is, I'm not going to explain it to you. You can look it up. This has helped our consumption. The website watercalculator.org estimates that personal, so a single person, daily usage is 94 gallons. For our household of 2, we should be at about 200 gallons. Yet we average 81 gallons per day. It is maddening that our efforts could backfire due to the alternate rate making. And it hurts to know that while our costs have risen, we have neighbors that are paying rates of $400 to $600 a month. Our recent UN report on water from a conference of experts in March of 2023 led with the statement, water is a common good, not a commodity. Thank you.
Any questions from the company? OSBA? OCA?
Quickly. You just stated that your efforts to save money by reducing your usage could backfire due to the alternative rate making. Were you referring to the rate mechanism, the revenue decoupling mechanism?
Absolutely.
Thank you.
Amy?
No question, Your Honor.
Cosby?
No question, Your Honor.
Okay, Ms. Shusett, correct?
Yes.
Submitted 6 exhibits in advance of the hearing. They were circulated by OCA. Any objections to them being admitted? Without objection, Shusett exhibits 1 through 6 are admitted into the record. Thank you very much for your testimony.
Thank you.
Gary Soroy? I'll administer the oath. Do Do you solemnly swear or affirm that the testimony you provide will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I do.
Thank you. Would you please state and spell your name for the record?
Gary, G-A-R-Y, Sirois, S-I-R-O-I-S,
Please state your address.
4902 Farming Ridge Boulevard, Reading, PA 19606.
Are you employed, and if so, by whom?
Retired.
Are you a Pennsylvania American Water and/or wastewater company?
I am.
You are. Are you appearing on behalf of yourself or a group?
For myself, thank you.
Thank you. What would you like to tell us?
Talking with friends and neighbors over the year, this topic of the very high water and sewer rates always came up. Hearing monthly comments from people saying their bills exceed $400 for many families was not unusual to hear. I had received unusually high bills in 2023, and I took a closer look at what I paid to PA American Water in 2023 and compared it to 2022. Note, we're a two-person household. My wife and I are both retired. I was alarmed to see that in 2023, we paid 18.5% more than we did in 2022. On top of that, we used 11% less water in 2023 than we did in 2022. I looked to compare what we paid PA Water in 2023 and to our two major other utilities, which is UGI for natural gas and MedEd for electricity. I found in 2023 we paid PA American 8% more than our other two major utilities combined. I found that in 2023 we paid 8% more in electricity and natural gas combined. It's kind of hard to believe. For example, in my experience, I found PA Water seems primarily focused on what is financially beneficial to the company and their shareholders versus their customer base. For example, years ago, and that was well before they were providing the wastewater service in our area, the company changed from a quarterly to a monthly billing cycle. The only issue with this change is the water service charge remained the same on our monthly bill as it did on a quarterly bill. So calling customer service when that change occurred, they told me the change to the monthly billing cycle was for the benefit of the customer to be consistent primarily with the other bills they get on a monthly basis to make it easier for them to pay. I responded it was clear to me that this change was primarily a financial benefit for the company, since this change resulted in the customer paying 3 times more for the water service charge. Existing rates are a stress on a monthly budget. The proposed new rate increases are excessive and will add an additional financial burden to the customer. Also, the proposed alternative rate mechanisms, a revenue decoupling mechanism, which we heard about, and an environmental compliance investment charge are really both designed to protect and increase the revenue stream by allowing the company to apply additional surcharges to the customer. I urge the PUC to side with the consumer and not approve the current PA American Water Company proposals for water and wastewater rate changes and alternative rate mechanisms. Thank you.
Thank you. Any questions from the company?
No questions.
OSBA? OCA?
Yes, quickly. Thank you, sir, for your testimony. You mentioned the environmental compliance and infrastructure charge that the company is proposing. Were you aware that they're proposing it so that they're saying it so that they can comply with environmental laws?
Correct.
Okay. Are you aware that the company is always obligated under the law to provide you safe drinking water that meets all environmental standards?
Correct.
And are you aware that before the company can recover its costs for meeting those standards, it must file a rate request like this one and have public input hearings and have a full evidentiary hearing subject to the scrutiny of the OCA and other parties before the PUC?
Correct.
Okay, and do you think it's appropriate that that type of review and scrutiny continue before the company can recover its costs for delivering you safe drinking water?
Yes, I do.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
INE?
No questions.
Cause PA? Thank you very much for your testimony.
Rich Jenkins. Rich Jenkins. Judith Cranes.
Good afternoon.
I'll administer the oath. Do you solemnly swear or affirm that the testimony you provide will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I do.
Thank you. Would you please state and spell your name for the record?
Name is Judith Cranes, Kraines, Judith the standard spelling. And I live at 406 Arrowhead Trail in Spring Township, so I don't have many of the problems that the Exeter customers have, which is good. Not for them, but. And
Are you employed, and if so, by whom?
I'm retired, and I'm speaking for myself. And what have I left out?
Are you a Pennsylvania American
Yes.
Water or wastewater?
I've
Or
always
customer?
been.
Okay.
And since I've moved to Berks County, I've been a Pennsylvania water customer.
What would you like to tell us?
Well, I would first speak to our representative from PA Water that I do not have many of the problems with pressure. I have no problems with discoloration. My water is fine except for the hardness. My appliances wear out way too soon. And that's true in Spring Township as the same problem you have here. But I don't have many of the other problems you have. And I'm glad to hear that testimony to know what my neighbors are going through.
Could you keep speaking into the microphone,
Sorry.
please? Thank you.
I'm here because I'm an elderly person, I'm 78, and I have noted that my bill, which is much lower than the Exeter people, but my bill of $64 with these new increases will go up to $82.58. That's a $17.58 increase for the same amount of goods. To me, that's 4 or 5 dinners, and that's a significant effect on my budget. But more important to me than what my budget is, because I have resources, is the fact that I need people to allow me to stay in my home. I can't manage all the things I used to manage on my own at my age. So there's someone who cleans my house. For her, her average dinner is about $2.50 because that's what she can afford. And for her, that means she's going to miss 5 or 6 dinners for paying an increase in water bill. And I can't do the yard work anymore, so I have people who do my yard work. They are mostly recent immigrants. They tend to be young people with young families. And I wonder how many of them will be able to feed their children when they have these kind of water increases. And I look at this from a communal basis because I think we are a community and we need to be a community. I understand the need to comply with new laws, but to me, taking the money from people who need it for their basic budgets so that your shareholders have a better reward makes no sense at all when you think of that concept of community. I think one of the other things I've recently done is the person who has cut my hair for about 15 years switched to a small local salon. And I'm worried how those prices will have to go up to pay for the water, because they're also PA water. And that's a cost to me, and that's a cost to a lot of people. And I think when you look at how that cost spreads out, there's a real gap between that and thinking of the reward for shareholders. So there has to be something that prevents the common loss, the common connectivity loss of us all working together when greed seems to be coming in. And that's the part that I think I am most opposed to. And I had a question for our representative from the company. I read about the plan to charge winter rates for sewage. I'm in Spring Township, which does its own sewer bills. Will they be lowering the rate of that sewer bill for me in Spring Township? Do you happen to know?
When it comes time for the company to ask questions, she may be able to give you a response, but
Okay.
right now, if you could just continue with your testimony.
That's it.
Okay, well then, anything from the company?
Thank you for your testimony. And I guess I'll answer by asking a question. Are you aware that the company's plans for winter averaging for its wastewater rates would not impact the wastewater rates from another provider? No other question.
OSBA? OCA?
Just an objection that I don't follow a company's question, but that's it. No questions for me.
No objection. Any objection?
I don't understand the question.
I did.
Okay.
She answered there would be no impact on my bill. I'd be still paying the full price of whatever the summer was on wastewater.
Are you aware, ma'am, that that might not be accurate?
I guess I'll have to check with my township.
Heine?
No questions, Your Honor.
Cause PA. Thank you very much for your testimony. Yeah. Karen Roberts? I'll administer the oath. Do you solemnly swear or affirm that the testimony you provide will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I do.
Thank you. Would you please state and spell your name for the record?
Karen Roberts, Karenroberts.
Please state your address.
4652 Pheasant Run North, Reading, Pennsylvania, 19606.
Are you employed, and if so, by whom?
I am retired.
Are you a Pennsylvania American Water and/or wastewater company customer?
Yes,
And are you speaking on behalf of yourself or on behalf of a group?
on behalf of myself.
Thank you. What would you like to tell us?
I am a recent homeowner in Exeter Township for 2.5 years. When I bought the home, my brother, an environmental engineer, warned me about Pennsylvania American Water costs. So, okay, I'm one person, how much could I possibly use? Well, I looked at my bills over the past year, and they average around $100 a month. Last summer, my family visited and played slip and slide in the backyard for 15 minutes, and my bill went from $100 to $184.32. This is affordable for me, but the rate increase has me concerned. Not only will my rates go up, but I understand our real estate taxes are rising again in March of this year. So my concern is, I don't know how more I can conserve water. I turn off the water brushing my teeth, I turn off the water washing my hands, I shower once a day, I do perhaps 3 loads of laundry per week, and I run the dishwasher once or twice a week. So I've conserved the best that I can. I don't know how else I can make these rates be affordable.
Does that conclude your testimony?
That concludes my testimony.
Any questions from the company?
Just very quickly, you mentioned the slip and slide. Just, are you aware that the winter averaging proposal the company has made would alleviate any additional summer seasonal usage like that? You would only be charged for what you use in the winter.
I am aware.
OSBA? OCA? Heine?
No questions, Your Honor.
Cause PA. Thank you very much for your testimony.
Thank you.
Dorothy Pfeffer? I'll administer the oath. Do you solemnly swear or affirm that the testimony you provide will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes.
Thank you. Will you please state and spell your name for the record?
Sure. My name is Dorothy Pfeffer, Dorothy, Pfeffer. We live at 235 Hanover Street in Birdsboro, and I am retired.
Are you a Pennsylvania American Water and/or wastewater company customer?
Yes, I am.
Are you appearing on behalf of yourself or on behalf of the group?
On myself.
Thank you. What would you like to tell us?
I have lived in Exeter Township for going on 40 years now. We were a family of 4 living in our same home. We have a well, so we do not use the water part of Pennsylvania American Water. We only use the sewer. When this was managed by our township, we paid $44 a quarter. Now, that included our recycling and our hydrant and, street light fee as well. Now, we are charged upward to $86 a month with 2 of us in our household. When there were 4 of us, we had a pool as well. We no longer have the pool. It is just my husband and I in our house, and we are charged almost 600% more than we were when the township had our sewage. Not only that, we have the inconsistent billing problem. With both of us being retired, we are on a fixed budget. I am aware about all the budgeting things I can call into Pennsylvania American Water to try and get arranged. That's not going to fix my issue.
We called in when we noticed our rate increasing constantly, and after 4 calls with very rude receptionists and trying to get our point across that we needed someone to come out and check for leaks, which was a service that they offered. The gentleman came to our home, checked for leaks, he found none. And I said to him, well, pretty much you're telling me that I am stuck with this monopoly. His response to me was, no, you always have the option that you can go ahead and have a septic system installed at $40,000 to $50,000. So because of the continuing rate increase, it was something we checked out to see if this was a true and factual cost. What we found out is we do not have enough land to allow that to happen. So now we are stuck. We have no choice. We just had Pennsylvania American Water come and dig up our streets to install water into our homes, which none of our neighbors on our street opted to have, because we have well water and it is fantastic compared to what you can get through Pennsylvania American Water. With our septic system, my husband had called and spoke to someone and asked, instead of having a meter that measures what's coming into our home, why can we not have something that's measuring what's leaving our home? So then that way we can continue to water our plants, our garden. We can give the cat something to drink. We can water our indoor plants because that's not exiting through the system as they're charging us for. So right now, they told us that that system is too expensive for them to install. I'm going to have to argue here because with a 600% increase in my fees, I don't get a 600% increase in my benefits coming in, and I can't imagine that a meter measuring my sewage rate is going to be well over the 600% you're currently charging me. Some of the small businesses that we use in our township have started to realize the pinch of Pennsylvania American Water. So what they've done is pass that cost on to us, which I totally understand. It's the same thing Pennsylvania American Water is doing, except this is mom and pop shops who are now going to lose their customers like ourselves because we are going to opt to go out of the township to where we can get the services at a decent, fair rate, not having to pay, again, Pennsylvania American Water over top of what we're already paying. And when I asked our service providers why, they explained that this was due to their water and wastewater increases. The hair salons, the nail salons, and I too belong to the gym, and I am pretty close to showering at the gym because I can't imagine how much more we can conserve at home. And I understand conservation and the winter rate is supposed to provide us a break, but then you've got that recoupling fee in there. So that means if you're cutting us a break here, you're just going to catch us on the back end. And all these other rate added things they have onto their bills is nothing other than a way to increase their charges without coming before the
30 seconds.
So I just wanted to thank everyone for their time, and I appreciate you taking the time to hear everyone today.
Thank you. Any questions from the company?
No questions, thanks for your testimony.
OSBA? OCA?
No, thank you.
Thank you.
INA?
No questions.
COSBA?
No questions.
Thank you very much for your testimony. Christopher Chiappini? I may be saying that incorrectly.
Nobody ever does.
I'll administer the oath. Do you solemnly swear or affirm that the testimony you provide here today will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I do.
Thank you. Would you please state and spell your name for the
My
record?
name is Christopher Tapucini. So that's CHRISTOPHER. Last name is CAPPUCCITTI.
Please state your address for the record.
10 Pelham Drive, East Fallowfield Township, PA 19320.
Are you employed, and if so, by whom?
I am employed. I work for Finesse Marketing Incorporated.
Are you a Pennsylvania American water and/or wastewater customer?
Not for long. I'm about to dig a well.
And are you appearing on behalf of yourself or on behalf of a group?
On myself.
Thank you. What would you like to tell us?
So my wife and I are originally from Canada. We moved into Bala-Cynwyd, just outside of Philadelphia in July of 2021. Water was reasonable. It resembled what it was like in Canada. Moved into our home in East Fallowfield Township, and we were very excited. We had an irrigation system, we had a pool, things that we've always wanted, and we were told by our neighbors to watch out for the water bill. So we closed the pool, and we no longer have an irrigation system. I just want to thank the organizers for allowing us the opportunity to be heard today. I'll keep it as brief as possible. There's two avenues of concern that I'm going to address today. The concerns are not only with the conduct of PA American Water, but also with our legislators. One of my points, I've been informed by the OCA, is going to be redundant, but I'm hoping this time it doesn't fall on deaf ears. After a significant amount of digging, I have come to the conclusion that PA American Water, as a monopoly, is simply conducting itself at the highest profit range in the rules set forth by our legislators. As a technical person, this is not a breach of any rule. As an ethical person, it's obvious they are simply taking advantage of a golden opportunity they should have never been given. I'll get the redundant point out of the way first. I'm sure we're all aware of the deduct meter issue. The issue is the private monopoly has written a policy to have their cake and eat it too. PA American Water, as a company, has chosen not to allow its customers to install this device. Why wouldn't they write such a policy? The answer is simple. They know they're getting paid for services they're not providing. So why the hell would they give up free money? There is no rule in place to force this monopoly to be ethical and conduct fair business practice towards its hostage customer base. I call upon the rule makers to mandate that private monopolized water utilities allow customers the option to install a deduct meter if they choose. I'll even do you one better. Make it so the customer has to burden the cost to keep it as fair as possible. In my opinion, charging customers who have no alternative means to acquire that service for something they are not receiving is a form of theft. I will clarify. Water not returning into the system and charging for it is a service the company is not providing. Legally, I believe they're stealing. So we need to put a rule in place to force fair business practice. I know this topic is redundant, so if everybody wants to stop hearing about it, do something about it. PA as a whole, as a state, already has water rates 50% higher than any other state in the country. PA American Water has rates 50% higher than 97% of all other water utilities in the state. I know this due to several hours of plugging numbers into the water rate calculator, and I want to thank my friends at the OCA for providing that tidbit. Now, PA American is asking for another 20% increase. Why are they asking for this? Why do they feel they even have the right? I'll tell you. It's because the legislators gave them this right written in stone. Act 12 is a horrific piece of legislation. I am not sure what sweetheart backroom deal or just the sheer incompetence for lack of complete thought for future problems, but my God, did they give them the keys to the kingdom. If I may set the stage, we as taxpayers funded the creation of the water infrastructure. Our municipal governments ran them into the ground. The legislators wrote Act 12 to allow private conglomerates to buy up failing infrastructures. I don't have the exact numbers, but I'm sure we can all assume they bought them for pennies on the dollar. So taxpayers were up the creek. Now here's the kicker. Inside of this sweetheart deal, it allows private companies to recoup any investment into infrastructure upgrades from the ratepayer. For those who are unaware of this clause, I'll explain. Let's say PA American Water invests $50 million to upgrade its newly purchased property.
30 seconds.
They have been given the right to charge the cost of those upgrades to the ratepayer for 5 years. That's why we're at this hearing. It has nothing to do with better service. They want the money back to increase their bottom line, to increase the company's wealth, and they want it off of our backs. On top of it, realizing the cash cow they have, it's starting to approach healthy municipalities to purchase their infrastructure, which is why my state rep has informed us that amendments to Act 12 are coming forward. This will not solve anything. It's still going to continue.
Thank you. Any questions from the company? No questions. OSBA? OCA?
No, thank you.
INE?
No.
COSBA? Thank you very much for your testimony. Sherry High. I'll administer the oath. Do you solemnly swear or affirm the testimony you provide here today will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I do.
Thank you. Would you please state and spell your name for the record?
Sherry High, it's Sherri, and High, High.
Please state your address.
28 Ironstone Drive, Reading, PA 19606.
Are you employed, and if so, by whom?
No, retired.
Are you a Pennsylvania American Water and/or Wastewater Company customer?
I am.
And are you appearing on behalf of yourself or on behalf of a group?
Myself.
Thank you. What would you like to tell us?
I have been an Exeter Township resident for 39 years. I can't ever get through to Pennsylvania American Water without a long wait to ask questions about my bill, and why don't they allow you to make payments over the phone with an automated system or with customer service? This is the first company I have had that you do not have an option to pay by phone. It's frustrating that our bills are out of control. We are on a fixed income and already do everything possible to conserve water. I personally know a family in Exeter that the husband has cancer and cannot work but received a shut-off notice from Pennsylvania American Water. I don't understand why there is no leeway in the summer months for customers that have pools that are being topped off or filled, cars being washed at home or lawns seeded, needing to be watered in flower beds, which all these cases, the water does not go into the sewer. Can someone please explain that? I spoke at the township meetings when it was being discussed to sell the sewer plant, and I stated not to do that because township ran it as a nonprofit, but that's not what would happen if the township sold it. So here we are. I never thought that the PUC would go along with the multiple rate hikes the Pennsylvania American Water asked for because they chose to overpay for acquisitions. How is that our fault? To be passed on to us. That's that.
Thank you. Any questions from the company?
Just very briefly, are you aware that there is a pay-by-phone option?
I tried that and gave up on it. I tried that a number of times. It did not work. They said I had to either mail it or do it over the computer, setting up an account.
I'm going to encourage you to speak with our folks here in the back of the room, and I think they can help you with that. That was my only question. Thank you for your testimony.
Sure.
OSBA? OCA?
Thank you.
INE? Cause BA. Thank you very much for your testimony. Fiona Ryder? I'll administer the oath. Do you solemnly swear or affirm that the testimony you provide will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I do.
Thank you. Would you please state and spell your name for the record?
My name is Fiona Reiter, Fiona-Reitgr.
Please state your address.
160 Curve Road, Reading, PA 19606. I am a PA user, water user, and sewer user. I am retired, and I'm here to represent my house.
Thank you. What would you like to tell us?
I'll not go over everything that's already been gone over, but okay, thank you. I did send in some papers to the PUC before.
Did you send exhibits in for this hearing?
Not for this, well, I sent it in when I got the original letter and they said that you can send in information.
You mean with your complaint? Did you file a complaint?
Yeah.
Okay.
So I don't know whether there's anything to do with it. But I did start going through all my paperwork because I've been here for 38 years. And I have bills that go back, well, at least 7 years. But the rate that went from the sewer rate in January 2020 was 0.938, and the sewer rate in November of 23 was 2.875. That actually is an increase of 306% over the 3 years. The water rate wasn't so bad. It was 1.2217 in January 2020, and in November 2023, it was 1.6108, which is actually only up by 51%. But at that time, they were also charging an improvement tax, or service charge, When they started doing the service charge, it was $1.18, and when they finished doing it, because I noticed it's no longer on the bill, it was $14.30. And that went out to every single household. As somebody else mentioned, I am retired, so my bill for this month was $178.38. It was a small bill because it was only 27 days worth. But that $178.38 is actually 10% of my Social Security pay. It's actually more than 10% of my Social Security pay. Fortunately, my husband still works, so we don't have a problem as yet. If they sent out this bill for the improvements and they took it off, I'd like to know what improvements there have been, because as they said, my water was atrocious before I put in a water softener. Now I have a water softener, so I have the extra water going through that, so I got the extra bill. The sewer, I don't know what improvements they've done for that, but I do know that they built a new office building up near Harrisburg. I would hope that the improvements charge wasn't done to put up that office building, because I would have thought it should have gone to sewer and water plants. And I think that's all I have to say.
Thank you. Any questions from the company?
No questions.
But OSBA? OCA?
No, thank you.
INE? COSBA? Thank you very much for your testimony. Sheila Jones? I'll administer the oath. Do you solemnly swear or affirm that the testimony you provide will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I do.
Thank you. Please state and spell your name for the record.
My name is Sheila Jones, S-H-E-I-L-A, last name Jones, J-O-N-S.
Please state your address.
My address is 179 Eskell Drive, East Stroudsburg, Pennsylvania, in Monroe County, zip 18301. I am employed. I work for St. Luke's University Health Network as vascular surgery PA, and I am a homeowner, water user, and I am representing myself in illness.
Thank you. What do you want to tell us?
So I've prepared my thoughts. First, I'd like to say good afternoon and thank you for allowing me the opportunity to speak today. I'm here to propose the increased cost of water and sewage requested by PA American Water. I'm a homeowner in Blue Mountain Lake community in Monroe County. I've lived in my home since August of 2012. I have 3 specific reasons why I would urge you to deny the proposed increase. First and most importantly, the cost of the water and sewage provided by PA American Water has become exorbitant. I'm not an uneducated woman. I was not ill-informed when I bought my home, and I am not financially irresponsible. When I bought my home 11 and a half years ago, my household size was 4, with 2 adults and 2 children. At that time, my typical water bill was between $120 and $150 per month. That's approximately between $30 and $37.50 per person per month. My household size did increase, and at its largest time, we had 2 adults and 4 children, all living with me full-time. Due to life changes, my home is now occupied about 50% of the time by me and my 2 young children, who are ages 6 and 10. My typical water bill is now approximately $200 to $250 per month. While this may not seem like much of an increase, it's actually very significant in light of my current household size and the actual usage. If you break that down to 3 residents, it's actually $67 per person per month on the low end of $200. When you consider we're only there 50% of the time, that means that the cost for each full-time resident in 2024 is $133.34 as compared to $30 per person in 2012. If all 6 of us still lived in my home full-time, my water and sewage bill would be at least $800 per month. At what point will the Public Utility Commission stop allowing PA American Water to continue assaulting their customers? Additionally, there are hidden costs associated with water service. The sewage is an assumed number, as we've heard multiple times. It's not metered. This may seem unimportant. However, when you calculate the discrepancy between my usage and my billing, you'll see it's quite significant. The cost of sewage is $2.87
cents per 100 gallons as opposed to 161 per 100 of water. I have a large dog, a cat, and many plants. I water them all every week. None of that's going out to the sewage. Additionally, I have a pool which frequently needs to be topped off during the dry spells. Yes, I know your question coming. And I'm sorry, I was billed for 23,000 gallons of water in 2021 because I filled that pool. For perspective, in August 2023, I was billed for 3,400 gallons of water. I paid for approximately 20,000 gallons of sewage I did not use. I did request a billing adjustment. It was denied. I did file a complaint with the Public Utilities Commission, and that was denied as well. I was told that the PA American Water Company is well within their rights to do so, and if I didn't like it, I should contact my state rep. I shared this not to dispute the unfair billing practices, but rather to demonstrate an additional hidden cost customers are paying, to which they are not receiving any product, nor do they have any recourse. Furthermore, it's my understanding that our water is provided by wells and aquifers within our community property and delivered by the lines that PA American Water owns. Many of my neighbors, as well as myself, experience periods of poor water quality. This has led many of us to be forced to purchase expensive filtration systems or buy bottled water for safety concerns. PA American Water has been informed of this many times, and we often get notification that we will need to boil our water because it's going to be dirty. As such, the utility product which is provided is actually quite substandard and adds another additional cost to our cost of living for health and safety issues. In closing, I'd like to thank you for your time and your consideration, and I respectfully request that you reject the proposed rate increase.
Thank you. Any questions from the company?
No questions. Thanks for your testimony.
Thank you.
OSBA? OCA?
Yes, thank you. So we're on the same page. Would you agree with me that the word prudent means the same thing as sensible, careful, thrifty?
Yeah, I would.
You mentioned in your testimony about feeling the impact of the overall increases of the back-to-back or the pancaking of the rate increases. Are you aware that PA American has filed for and received rate increases in 2018, 2021, 2022, 2023, and then this one would take effect in 2024?
I am aware. I've been watching it creep up.
And what do you think about that?
I mean, it's really just going to drive people out of the neighborhood. You're going to see empty houses driving our property values down, driving our tax revenue down. Our schools aren't going to be funded, and because people can't afford to live somewhere. This is why I said I was not ill-informed when I bought my home. I understood what it was going to cost me, but this is exponential and it's unreasonable.
And does that sound like prudent management to you?
No.
As follow-up, are you aware that the company is asking the PUC to reward it of up to $11.8 million extra per year in rates for running the company in a prudent manner?
Yeah, I'm not really sure how anybody could correlate this with prudent, but yet I have a feeling they'll probably be awarded that nonetheless.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Naomi? Cosby?
Thank you.
Thank you very much for your testimony. Alan Blackburn? Do you solemnly swear or affirm that the testimony you provide here today will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I do.
Thank you. Would you please state and spell your name for the record?
Alan, A-L-A-N, Blackburn, B-L-A-C-K-B-U-R-N. My address is 4729 Allison Road, Reading, PA 19606. I am employed at Berks Career and Technology Center. I am a user of PA, Pennsylvania American Water, and I speak for myself and my wife.
Thank you. What do you want to tell us?
Okay. So since 2019, as everyone said, my rate's gone up. If we look at the CPI inflation calculator, sponsored by the government, between November 2019 and October 2023, which is when I sent my letter to POC, inflation was 19%. Our water rates went up almost 32%. Recent filing would cause the rates to go up over 50% in 4 years. There's a staggering increase in my wastewater service charge. Basically, like he said, it's been over 200% in those 4 years. So think about 200%. 200% is like buying a Toyota Camry in 2019 for $25,000, now going out spending $75,000, for spending $5 for that latte at Starbucks and now paying $15 for it at Starbucks. This is totally unreasonable. I don't have a choice in water. I have a choice in gas. I have a choice in electric. I don't have a choice in water. 3 days without water, we die. The company wants to change our base residential bills for the month to reflect this April to December seasonal usage. As a teacher, I'm not around much in the summer. That means I'm not going to see any savings. I use less in the summer. And so what's the mechanism there? It seems to me I'm going to be a loser in that. And based on Pennsylvania American Water's history, I'm sure somehow this will become a rate increase and not a decrease. Customers of Pennsylvania American Water, we're actually providing the funds for all this increase in value of the company, but we don't share in any of the benefits of that increase in value of the company. The company paid out over $467 million in dividends in 2022, expect to be close to $500 million, $500 million in dividends in 2023. This is according to their annual reports. They also have an 8.8% quarterly growth rate, earnings growth rate, and over 22% profit margin, according to the Yahoo Finance website. They are projected to increase profits over 7% from 2023 to 2024. So what is reasonable for a company that has a monopoly-like control of something that is vital to life? Why must there be profit growth like this? Isn't a consistent profit adequate enough for the customer? Has no choice, like we don't have a choice? Profit growth should come from internal improvements, not based on rate increases. The company claims to be investing approximately $1 billion to improve reliability and quality, yet they give away $500 million in dividends every year. Mind-boggling to me. So investing typically, the term investing everyone wants to use, typically when I invest in something, I expect a return on that investment. Well, you're using our money to make these investments. We're not seeing any return. Basically, it's just money to fund the profits and the growth of this company. Also, when a company buys other companies, they're doing it mostly to get synergistic improvements, to lower costs so they can improve their profits. How come when you buy a company, all the costs go up? It doesn't make any sense to me. I ran operations and maintenance for a company. When we were expected to improve product quality, reduce costs, improve things throughout the company, but not increase cost of that product. That was the whole goal. You paid back improvements through cost reductions. So somehow this company does not seem to understand that making improvements is an expense up front, but should reduce costs over time. They should not seek rate increases of this magnitude because they should be realizing reductions in the cost of operations. In the 2022 annual report, their president, Justin Ledner, said when he was talking about their business, "We do this judiciously and with customer affordability in mind." I don't know what world this guy is living in, but 2.5 to 10 times the total inflation rate is not affordability. So explain that to people who are living on a fixed income. I plan to retire in a few years, and I will be on a fixed income. I'm hoping we can afford it. From November 2019 to October 2023, stock dividend increased over 40%. And they had an annual compound dividend growth rate of 9.7%. And that's more than inflation rate. And they had enough money in 2022 to give their CFO a sign-on bonus of $950,000, and their company was able to provide a doubling of the top 5 executives' pay. Where is that money coming from? This reminds me of a game I played as a kid. It was called Monopoly, where the goal was to put others out of business and get all their money. And they're doing it by getting all of ours. Thank you.
OSBA? OCA?
No, thank you.
INE? No questions. COSBA? Thank you for your testimony. Michelle Datko? Do you solemnly swear or affirm that the testimony you provide will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Thank you.
Thank you. Would you please state and spell your name for the record?
Michelle Datko, Micheledatko. I live at 1408 Butter Lane, Reading, and I'm employed by ECRI, and I am a current wastewater and water customer of PAWC, and I'm speaking on behalf of myself.
Thank you. What do you want to tell us?
I'm going to try to condense this. I've been a resident of Exeter for 23 years, and I actually have a number of complaints against PAWC, but due to time constraints, I'm going to focus on two of them today: the proposed water rate increase and the revenue decoupling surcharge. I would describe my family's water needs as typical. There are 3 adults living in a small home. We all work, and we have a dog. We have a big garden in the summer and a lot of houseplants we do try to conserve. We use an average of 246 gallons of water per day, which is in Exhibit 1, which I've turned in. And according to the U.S. Geological Survey, that's exactly average for the country. You will see that we spend an average of $361 a month, and that adds up to $4,300 a year for our family for water, $4,300. And according to the latest census data, if you calculate down from the gross household income to the net household income for our township, that's 6%, that bill. Consider what my family will have paid to PAWC after 10 years. At that rate, it's $43,000 over 10 years, $86,000 over 20 years for water. The costs are not just a burden on a monthly basis, but as we struggle to pay our bills on time. But if you think about the problem in the long term, we could have been spending that money on other things, such as investing in retirement, education, home improvements, and other things. In comparison, in my exhibit, I shared some water bills from other places in the United States, including Huntington Beach, a suburb of Los Angeles. The household there, which owns a pool and is using even more water use per month than us, is paying $50 a month for water and a flat fee of about $8 a month for wastewater. And yet here I am in Reading paying about 9 times that rate for the water here. And those communities haven't complained of high taxes or other issues with their water. Now, the rate increase is going to take our bill up to $387 a month on average, or $4,716 per year. If we purchase new appliances and change our habits, we are in danger of contributing to the institution of the revenue decoupling charge. So there's no award for saving money. And that's not just personally disheartening for my budget, but also I would expect in 2024 that PAWC would be more concerned with conserving money for the future of the environment. This problem is very complex. I realize that from doing research. It's part of Act 12 of 2016 is a cause. The purchase of Exeter's wastewater facility for $93.5 million. I found an article that reported that PAWC invested $20 million into Exeter's wastewater treatment facility. There is cross-subsidization of water infrastructure costs across Pennsylvania. We have outdated state laws and unfunded federal mandates. So this is not an easy problem to solve. Despite all these costs and the operating costs of PA American Water, one would think
30 seconds.
that, because of the large customer base and customers paying $4,000 or more dollars, as I am, that these costs would have more than been covered.
So I urge you to put a stop to this rate charge and hope that it will be a beginning for PAWC improving how they do things. Thank you.
Thank you. Any questions from the company?
No questions. Thank you for your testimony.
OSBA? OCA?
Quick. You mentioned Act 12. Do you know that it is the company's sole choice to pursue acquisitions under Act 12 and to pay, a premium for those systems?
I do, and I think that municipalities fall for that because they're struggling and they are sold on information that things are going to improve and that rates will remain reasonable.
Thank you.
Heidi? Cause PA? No question. Thank you for your testimony. Oh, 1 second. There was an exhibit, that go exhibit 1, that was circulated to everyone. Any objection to that being admitted? Okay, without objection, that go exhibit 1 is admitted into the record. Thank you. Stephen Anton? I'll administer the oath. Do you solemnly swear or affirm that the testimony you provide here today will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I do.
Thank you. Would you please state and spell your name for the record?
Stephen Anton, Stephen Anton.
Please state your address.
754 Azalea Way, Exeter, which they call Reading, 19606.
Are you employed and if so by whom?
No, I'm retired.
Are you a Pennsylvania American water and or wastewater customer?
I am.
And are you appearing on behalf of yourself or on behalf of a group?
Myself.
Thank you. What would you like to tell us?
Okay, this will be very brief because so much has been said that I need not repeat it. I was glad to hear people mention how we went from quarterly billing to monthly and the ramifications, how billing itself, sometimes it's 4 weeks, sometimes it's 5 weeks, and the folks that we're paying for water that's not treated. And again, tap water, it doesn't need to go to the wastewater treatment plant. So those are very valid points. I'm a senior, I have a very limited income. I know people want to hear how it impacts us individually. I don't have a big corporate pension. I'm not a retired government employee, so I do have limited income. So I will show you how this has impacted me. I, last night, went through my bills. I found 2. January the 9th, 2024, which was for the period December 7th to January 3rd of this month. And then I found the bill 13 months before. It was dated December 1st, 2022, from November 3rd to November 30th. The point being, both were the same billing units. I worked out the math, I triple checked it. So in 13 months, and I have minimal usage, a 26% increase. 26%. That's in 13 months, folks. This is you can't sustain, you can't go on like this. I won't go through the other calculations. As for recovery, our senator said, she mentioned the word recovery. There is no recovery. We are permanently, well, we're out of luck, put it that way. People must realize compounding. Even if we went to 0% inflation, we're totally out of luck. If you have a 2% increase on $100, that's $2. The same 2% increase on $200 is $4. So, same percentage, but double the increase. And that's what's happened. Even if we go to 0 inflation, even if we have no increases for the next couple years, we're out of luck. My government, my lovely government, gave me a 3.2% increase, COLA, cost of living adjustment. I don't want to ruffle feathers. That is the biggest scam, the biggest lie. I can show you all my personal receipts and prove inflation was triple to quadruple. When you look at property taxes, we're getting an outrageous increase in Exeter. Insurances for car and home, food, fuel, utilities. I can prove triple to quadruple in every category. When you look at these utility companies, it's been mentioned in part, you've got to look at compensation, benefits, bonuses, pensions. We are creating a low-level aristocracy. We used to think of the Vanderbilts, the Kennedys. Now we have a low-level aristocracy, where if you're in a certain group, you work for a certain company, you get all the benefits at our expense. So maybe these companies should look at less profits, less compensation, less gigantic bonuses. So as far as an increase, not a penny. In fact, there should be a rollback.
30 seconds.
Okay, I'll wrap this up. The bigger issue, and again, I don't want to ruffle feathers, is the politicians, the government agencies and bureaucrats that have cozy relationships and take money from these corporations, these big utilities, these health companies, etc. They're in bed, and they're not doing their job. They're not protecting us. Thank you.
Thank you. Any questions from the company? OCA? OCA? No. INE? No questions. COSPA? Thank you very much for your
Thank
testimony.
you.
Tracy Duff? Tracy Duff? I apologize in advance. I'm going to say this wrong. Bill Bartolomucci? Anything even remotely close? Some of these have been spelled differently than how you've spelled them yourself, so maybe Bartholomew, Bill Bartholomew, Bartolomucci. Anything? No? Okay. Tim Fenchel? I'll administer the oath. Do you solemnly swear or affirm that the testimony you provide here today will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I do.
Thank you. Would you please state and spell your name for the record?
Tim Fenchel, T-I-M, last name F-E-N-C-H-E-L.
Please state your address.
232 Parkview Court, Harleysville, Pennsylvania.
Are you employed and if so by whom?
I am by the Schuylkill River Greenways National Heritage Area.
Are you a Pennsylvania American water and/or wastewater customer?
I am not.
Are you appearing on behalf of yourself or on behalf of a group?
The group?
And what's the group? Sorry?
It's long. The Schuylkill River Greenways National Heritage Area.
Thank you. What do you want to tell us?
So good afternoon. I'm the Deputy Director for the Schuylkill River Greenways. And the mission of the Schuylkill River Greenways is to connect residents, visitors, and communities to the Schuylkill River and to the Schuylkill River Trail by serving as a catalyst for civic engagement and economic development in order to foster stewardship of our watershed. Basically, our job is to champion the river and the communities that support it. We do this through recreation, education, and conservation. And since 2006, our organization has been administering the Schuylkill River Restoration Fund grant program, which is designed to improve water quality throughout the Schuylkill River watershed. This program implements projects from the headwaters all the way to Philadelphia, focusing on abandoned mine drainage, agricultural improvements, and stormwater remediation. This program has funded over 100 projects since it began and has had a tremendous impact on our watershed, public drinking water, and the dozens of communities that touch the river. Pennsylvania American Water has been a valued partner in this program for the past several years, supporting projects within their service area and assisting us in selecting other worthy projects up and down the river corridor. They have also come alongside the Heritage Area partner with us in engaging our shared constituents through trail and river-based events and programs. They come alongside us to educate and inform residents regarding the significance that the Schuylkill River plays as a drinking water source for almost 2 million people in our region. We continue to look forward to 2024 and the year ahead, as we will continue to collaborate with Pennsylvania American Water on these programs and to continue to promote healthy and safe drinking water and conservation of the Schuylkill River.
Thank you. Any questions from the company?
No questions. Thank you for testimony.
OSBA? OCA?
Yes, thank you. Thank you for your testimony. Appreciate what your organization does. Does your organization receive donation from Pennsylvania American Water Company? Would you like to continue receiving donations from Pennsylvania American Water Company?
We would love that. They are partnering with us, as I stated, and I'm here to testify to they're doing that. We do not receive contributions. The contributions that Pennsylvania American Water makes to the Restoration Fund, 100% of those contributions go to projects, none of that goes to the organization.
Okay, now are you testifying here today about the rate increase?
I'm not. I'm testifying to the partnership that they have in their input and impact onto the Schuylkill River watershed.
Thank you very much.
INE? Cause PA. Thank you for your testimony. Is the person who adjusted the microphones handy? Because I think the microphone at the podium went out again, and I need that on. We're going to take one moment to see if we can find him. It keeps going up and down. I've heard it go in and out. I can hear you tapping it, but it's going in and out. Okay, thank you. Yeah, if anyone needs to step away for a minute while we're waiting for the, yeah, thank you. You need to run.
Yes, unheard of. Come on.
Okay. Testing. Oh no, we're gonna resume because